Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to my new show, Whatever on My Mind. Now, the reason I decided to make this show is because, I felt like it'd be good to, you know, connect with people who do support the channel, subscribe, like the content, and shout outs to Jimbo, STH, sup? Sup to you, man. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, this show is going to be, whatever is on my mind, I'm going to try to be funny about it. But if it's serious issues too, there also will be that. And then, of course, this will also be the show where all the newest updates about Super Kami Guru Alucard, S.O.S. Brigade Quartet will all take place. Because, you got to sell yourself in this business as an artist. And that's something I've really been learning from Big O. Shout out to Omar Gooden. He was actually kind of an inspiration behind wanting to make this show, really. I learned a lot from him. And, of course, anybody watching, just in case y'all don't know, Omar Gooding was Mo on Smart Guy. That's who I'm talking about. And, a lot of people sleeping on him because people talk about your Drakes and your Kendricks and all this in hip hop nowadays. They don't impress me. I'm like, man, Drake just sounds like Lil Wayne to me, and Kendrick just sounds like he want to be Pusha T. That's just me. To each his own, right? But I just ain't really into it. But with Big O, I heard his stuff recently, and I was like, yo, this guy's spitting, man. He got bars. And it made me feel better because I feel like I'm quite underrated as a lyricist and a hip hop artist. Might be because of my race, might be because of my country, whatever reasons. But then I see another cat, he's got more in his favor. He's got a name for himself. He right, part of the culture, because nowadays I see so many YouTube videos talking about how white rappers are culture vultures. Now, let me just make this clear. I can't speak for all of them, but I could speak for myself. And with me, it was never, oh, I'm trying to rap to be black. I'm trying to make tracks because I like kicking facts. You dig? And that's how I always looked at it. I like the music. I appreciate the culture. But then you look at my music and my artistry, I'm not just one shade of a certain color. I find that my music is mixed of many different influences. And see, that's the key thing, influence. Exactly. I love what Jimbo said right there. Make music because it's fun. If you love doing it, that's the real thing. Like, I'm not saying there ain't people out there that are culture vultures. Like, in my opinion, that DJ Vlad cat, he's screwy. Don't trust him. But people like that, yeah. But I mean, when they sit there and they'll talk about like how all white rappers are culture vultures, I sit there and I think to myself, I'm like, all white rappers. That's that's a big narrowing down right there. Can you really say all? And then they'll be like, oh, but Eminem. Eminem gets a pass. But then it's like, if anybody comes out in the dope that raps good, they think, oh, you just trying to copy Eminem. So you see what I mean? It's the two-edged sword that just really screws it all up. And it shows that the issue isn't with who's a culture vulture and all that. It's an issue with the perception of the audience. This generation, they're very touchy, they're very sensitive about stuff. They don't seem to realize that the generations before them, we kind of were exposed to a lot more dark humor. We kind of had to laugh about dark stuff because it was different times, right? And they don't understand. Like somebody in this generation probably never grew up listening to George Carlin and Richard Pryor and shit like that. What they would say, shit that would give these people that get offended over this stuff nowadays, they would get heart attacks if they heard some of the shit like these comedians said back in the day. But nobody was offended. Everybody loved it back then. So that's got to tell you, yeah, everything could be offensive. But I love what George Carlin said about it. It's all about context. I could give you a perfect example of this today. And I'm glad I actually get to share this story because this is the perfect way to put it in context so that people could see I ain't trying to be offensive in any way with what I said. It was a joke that got taken the wrong way. All right. So what happened was this, right? I'm seeing this post about Jenna Ortega like leaving Twitter or whatever because she got some bot sending her AI pics of herself like when she's younger, but more busty and stuff. And I'm like, and I made a joke. Now, understand the context, right? I've heard rumors about this actress being snobby, difficult to work with, kind of bitchy, thinking really highly of herself. Like, these is really the roots of where I came up with this joke. Her negative sort of attitude, right? Like, she thinks so highly of herself. So I said, bitch is probably just mad that she would need plastic surgery to look like that in real life. And oh my God, 20 people commented, oh, you're terrible, you're disgusting, you're a pedophile, all this fucked up shit. And I'm like, yo, y'all need to chill. First of all, I was fucking abused and molested. So that ain't even cool fucking bringing two opposite ends of the spectrum together like that. Second, they making it look like I'm attacking this woman for being young and all that. It's like, no. Y'all are mixing up the issue. I'm saying because of her snobby attitude, the joke was she wishes she could have done it so she could have took credit for it. See, if you understand the context of what I was saying with the joke, it wasn't anything like what they're trying to make it out to be. But 20 motherfuckers comment to me. I just deleted the motherfucking post. I'm like, I don't need this drama. Y'all too touchy. This generation too sensitive. They can't even take a joke like that. I'm like, y'all making it out to be something it's not. First of all, you making it seem like I'm sitting there thinking, oh, like, yeah, she just mad, like all that. I'm like, I said she mad because she couldn't do that herself physically, like make herself look like that when she was younger and all those pictures, whatever, without doing plastic surgery. Because she thinks so highly of herself that it's like she wouldn't want some AI program probably taking credit for something, she could have done if she wanted to. So, and that I was making a joke about the attitude, not the age thing. I'll put it this way. I didn't even really think about the age factor of what they were saying until after they pointed that out. When I made the joke, I was basing it off her snobby, nobody wants to work with her in Hollywood attitude. That was the joke. She thinks that highly of herself. She just wishes she could have done it first so she could take credit for it. She don't want AI stealing credit for something she could have done herself. But you see what I mean? Because of all this shit, people are too touchy and sensitive nowadays. They make it out to be something it's not. And that's the problem. This generation doesn't understand that context plays a factor in everything. Like I said, the old saying is ignorance is bliss, right? I didn't even know the chick's age when I made that joke. I thought she was old. I thought she just looked young. I don't know. She looks young. So if they making her look like that, they do that in freaking movies and shows anyway. You gonna tell me they ain't making that chick wear a push-up bra and all that shit to make her look more busty? She that young. Look at all her old series. They were doing that shit anyway. It's just AI is able to, expand upon it more. So that's why I made the joke. She was already doing that shit. If you look at her earlier roles when she was younger, she wishes she could have taken it to that big scale. But AI did it, and she couldn't without plastic surgery. So that was the joke. But you see, the context, if you're not looking at it in the right frame, you're going to be confused and go off like these fucking buffoons and these idiots sitting there talking about shit that is like you making it something it's not. And what shows me about that is how hopeless this generation is as far as like they don't know how to take a joke. They don't know how to support what's good. They want to focus on what's bad all the time instead of what's good. Because you notice those motherfuckers, they going off talking all this shit, focusing on everything negative. They made fun of me for having a receding hairline. I'm like, oh, y'all can talk about that. Y'all can make fun of me for that. The one flaw. Oh, yeah. Big deal. Just so y'all know, I don't really give a fuck. The whole point is, and what pisses me off about that is that's all you could focus on. I made 20 motherfucking albums that are dope, that fucking everybody pushing under the rug and fucking ignoring. And like I made five with a jazz band. I can play sax. I write songs. I sing. I fucking my most popular song is one I made in Japanese. I've I'm almost written my third book. But y'all, those people could only focus on dumb shit like that. You see what I mean? That's what tells you this generation got a fucking problem. It got a bug up its ass. It needs to get fucking surgically removed. And I don't care who gets offended by it because it's fucking true. I get it. There's fucked up shit in the world, and we need to deal with it. We need to get the evil motherfuckers like your Diddies and all your fucked up shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get those motherfuckers, lock them up, throw away the key, and say, fuck them. But y'all trying to make everybody fucking villains. Like the way this culture and the generation is nowadays, they are fucking programming our youth to just automatically see the fucking worst in everybody. No matter how good or how hard they try, that's how they're programming the generation. We're just all fucking shit, no matter how much we do. And that's the programming that is getting pushed into society. And I'm not making it a race thing. I'm saying they fucking doing it to everybody. That's why I brought up the Big O situation. He got a motherfucker. He's famous, dope, dope bars, like dope rapper. He's actually killing it. One of my favorite jams right now. Shout outs to him, of course. Legacy. Go look up Omar Good and Legacy if you ain't heard it, man. The way he's sampling his pops, giving it that old school vibe. His lyrics are crazy. I'm like, he's better than Drake, better than Kendrick Lamar. How come nobody popping Big O shit? I'm like, yo, pop Big O, man. Big O dope. Or like, I'll give you another example. Everybody in the media, they talk about how crazy he is, and that's all they want to focus on, right? Nobody want to talk about how dope a lyricist and how good at rapping he is, though. And it blows my mind because, like, I heard he was a rapper, but because of that stigma, I didn't really think much of it. I'm like, yeah, 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 whatever. Everybody and their mama can rap nowadays, right? So they say. But yo, I heard this one dude, a song called Hip Hop by Orlando Brown, which is something Omar Gooden talked about. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let's see if this dude really got bars the way Big O claiming, right? And I'm like, all right, Big O, if you wrong, I'm gonna call you out on it, but I'm gonna see. And I was like, yo, he was spitting. He had fire. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, yo, this the dude from That's So Raven, Fillmore. Yo, he got more fire lyrics than Drake, your Kendrick Lamar's. Uh, who else is big nowadays? Because all these motherfuckers out here nowadays, they all sound like they copying Future or Lil Wayne or Two Chains. It just all sounds the same. I can't even tell these motherfuckers apart anymore. So that's why I don't listen to a lot of new stuff. But what I could tell you is Big O, Omar Gooden, Orlando Brown, I was actually like impressed. They stood out. I was actually like, hell, these dudes could rap, yo. Like they got bars, real lyrics. They snapping, as Omar was saying, right? So I was like, yo, okay. And then I look at myself. I'm like, man, they training people to just focus on the image. They don't even care about talent. I mean, Diddy literally said this, and I heard one of his bodyguards talking about how he said this to motherfuckers like, "Don't bring me talented motherfuckers. I don't want to hear talented motherfuckers. We want desperate motherfuckers who will do whatever they say." Right? Like that's how the industry is shaping. And I was talking to somebody in my Buddhist group about it the other day. I was saying it's tough because I ain't just battling like one person's expectations, my own expectations, or even a group of people's expectations. I'm battling an entire genre of expectations. And like that's hard, man. Like that's what makes me think like I really am in a tough spot as far as like my purpose, my career choices, my life and everything. Which is why mostly lately I've been watching old movies and writing my books. Cause like when you put out as much music as I have, it's kind of like, man, what can I do that ain't already been done? They still don't get it. No matter how dope I come, how many times around I drop it. Like they still just ain't getting it. And then, like I said, I'll hear somebody like Omar Gooden, um, Orlando Brown, and I'm like, yo, they killing it. They actually got names for themselves. How come people ain't bumping they stuff? They better than your Drakes and your Kendrick Lamars and all that. But it's like, see, that's how twisted the game is. And I think it's like that in every genre of music. Because if we being honest, I don't think Taylor Swift or Beyonce are that good artists. Yet they're considered the two biggest ones nowadays. It's like, okay, Taylor Swift, maybe I would say has some strengths as a songwriter. Some of her early stuff you could tell, right? Like they were good songs, right? But Beyonce too, when she sings music that suits her voice, yeah, she can shine. And you know what? I actually think she made some of her best music with Destiny's Child and her first earlier couple albums. I don't really like the newer stuff, but like to say they have no talent, no. But are like they the best? Are they the ones that everybody should be listening to and praising and listening to everything they drop and saying it's dope? No, that is making them overrated. And I'll put it this way, I think the same with Eminem. Eminem has his moments, sure, where he's got complete greatness about him. Like he kills it. And I ain't taking that away from him. The moments where you are your dopest, two thumbs up, and you fucking flip that shit and kill it like nobody else. I give you that. But you gonna tell me that he has been as consistently good, consistently, mind you, since his second record. Every song. I mean, no. First two albums, even his underground album, so we'll make it three. His first three albums. We'll even count the Slim Shady EP, make it four. 8 Mile Soundtrack, five. Okay. And that's being generous. All those, solid. And what I want people to know is I'm not saying there wasn't good songs on the Eminem show or Encore or Recovery or Relapse or any of the stuff after that. That's not even what I'm saying either. I'm saying consistently dope. Every song killing it. Every song is damn, that's fire. That's hot. No, not since after 8 Mile Soundtrack. And really, 8 Mile Soundtrack is, like I said, is being generous because that wasn't all his songs. You got to give credit to the other artists who made that such a phenomenal effort. And another thing I would also mention is look at the D12 albums too, because everybody's popping this new Eminem stuff. I don't really think it's that hot. But at the same time, I ain't hating Eminem because I don't see people bumping the old stuff like the Infinite, the Slim Shady era, the Marshall Mathers, like the stuff that was good in between. Like My Darling is that's actually such a good song. I'm surprised more people don't acknowledge that as one of Eminem's best songs. And then the D12, for example, he kills it with D12. And all those dudes in D12 were sick. In fact, one lady, Jaguar Rice, she talked about how Proof like helped Eminem write some of those songs. I don't think that's fully true. I think he might have helped him, like giving him pointers, like, oh, change that line, make that rhyme. Rappers do that. I know from back when I started rapping, rappers do that. They did that in old Terror Squad with Fat Joe and Big Pun and Triple Sace and Cuban Link and Armageddon and Prospect. They would exchange lyrics to sharpen each other up, right? Improve each other. So that, yeah, and I think Proof was a valuable asset because you notice any of the songs Proof spit on in D12, he had the best verse on that shit. So I agree. I think Proof was a valuable asset as a lyrical assistant to Eminem, like, helping him tighten up his songs, add that extra little punch. Because after Proof died, that extra little punch seemed to be missing from the equation. And when I thought about it, I was like, oh shit. I was talking to my Buddhist mentor about this the other night too. I said, think about the song Like Toy Soldiers. When that song came out, and maybe this is the Mandela effect, anybody is free to comment and correct me if I'm wrong. But I remember when everybody was talking about that song, Like Toy Soldiers first came out, everybody was talking about how that was about Proof. Oh, he making that song because Proof died. Look it up. Turns out Proof hadn't died when he made that song yet. It was in between that period and Curtain Call. I found this out and I was mind blown. He died, just so we got the facts, April 11th, 2006 is when he died, right? Okay, sorry. My scroller is a pain to move sometimes. So, okay. It says it was released on his 2004 album Encore. It was recorded in 2004. If Proof died in 2006, how is that about Proof? And it seems like it really is about Proof. I'll put it this way. I don't know if it really is about Proof or it's not. But that's why I'm pointing this out for people because I never thought of it like that. If that was about Proof, and I remember everybody was saying it was about Proof dying at the time, Proof hadn't died at that point, though. Was he foreshadowing? Did he knew his homie was gonna die? Did everybody think that was about Proof dying? And Proof wasn't even dead. If that came out in 2004 and Proof didn't die until April 11th, 2006, how did Eminem know? See, when me and my Buddhist mentor were talking about that, that hit me. And I was like, isn't that strange? Because, okay, maybe everybody had that wrong at this time. Maybe when Like Toy Soldiers came out, it was the Mandela effect. Everybody thought Proof was dead, and that's what it was about, but Proof hadn't died. Chronologically speaking, that was 2 years before he died. How is that about Proof if he's still alive? And then it does seem like it is still about Proof. Did he foreshadow that? Did he know it was gonna happen? Like, what's going on there, right? And that's something I don't hear enough people talk about. That's one of those really weird sort of hip hop conspiracies. Like, I don't know about y'all, but that's one that kind of made me turn my head because, like I said, anybody is free to comment and correct me. Like, did you hear that was about Proof when it came out? Because I did. I remember everybody was pointing that song out to me. You know, all the Eminem lovers and all that. They'd be like, yo, that like Toy Soldier, yo, Eminem goes hard. It's deep, man. It's a great song and all this. It's about Proof. Everybody, I remember, it's about Proof. Proof died and all this. I'm like, oh, okay. Rest in peace, Proof, right? I knew the D12 stuff. So I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't know if he really died. Like, people kept saying it. So I just assumed that. I was like, oh, shit. Proof died. Rest in peace, right? And dope song. And then I look back and I'm like, but wait 1 second here. If Proof didn't die till 2006, Like Toy Soldiers came out in 2004. Why was everybody that I know telling me Proof died and that was about him? Weird, right? Could be Mandela effect. But it's one of those, and that's why. See, I'm glad I could talk about this, like kind of stuff on the show. Is that was the whole point of the show, whatever's on my mind. So I had to, like, talk about this stuff because this stuff was driving me crazy, and that's why I'm glad I get to post it and talk about this because I'm just curious. Like, am I the only one that heard that? Because I swear to God, I remember when Like Toy Soldiers came out. Maybe those people were all wrong. I don't know. But I remember everybody coming to me. Oh, you gotta hear Like Toy Soldiers. Yo, it's dope. Eminem's going hard. It's about like Proof dying, all that. Like I remember that. And it wasn't until like I look back and I'm like, wait a second, those dates don't match up, man. How is that about Proof dying? And Proof died 2 years after the song. Like, did you know he was gonna die? Foreshadowing, like, or did all those people have wrong? I don't know. That's the mystery I leave with the audience. But yeah, and as far as like projects, I'm still mixing up some songs when I get back from Japan because I'm going next month. I'm gonna see. He told me in concert that's gonna be a blast. That's probably like the highlight of the year. I'll put it this way: if it goes as good as I expect it to, it might be the highlight of my life. So cheer me on for that. But either way. Still mixing music, recording new stuff here and there when it gets quiet around here because the neighbors and trains and dogs barking. It's a lot to contend with to try to record something. But also working on books. I'm still in the process of typing up my second one. I've fully typed up my first one, still trying to get a publisher to look at it. And then with the third one, I'm writing it by hand and I have just over 25 pages left to write. So that's almost done. That's probably my best work yet. I really like that book as far as like my creative ideas, everything about the story. I feel like, it's with anything. You keep working at it, you're gonna get better. Like, I'd say I kept getting better. Like, from my first to my second book, like, there was a level of growth, and even getting into this third one, another level of growth, right? So keep on moving, keep on doing my thing. With the Stephen King reviews, I'm gonna try and get another review up this week, as I promised last review. I did Joyland. I'm trying to think of what was the 13th book I read. Was it Dolores Claiborne? um huh Yeah, I'm honestly not sure. Like, I'm trying to remember which book I read as the 13th one in a row. Part of me thinks it could have been Dolores Claiborne. It could have been it could have been no, now I remember. Okay, you see, I was struggling to remember. Now I remember. Okay. 13th was 4 Past Midnight. That was the 13th book I read. Then 14 was Just After Sunsets, which is still my favorite short story collection of King's. And Dolores Claiborne was 15. I remember that because Dolores Claiborne, it was short. I got through it in a day. I loved it. And then I remember because after that, I started the Tommy Knockers. And that, well, that was its own experience in itself. A book that I truly loved and hated simultaneously. Which, when I get to my review, you'll understand why. But yeah, that's what I was just trying to remember. So yeah, okay. Now that I'm back on track with that, the next review will be about 4 Past Midnight. The one following will be Just After Sunset, and then Dolores Claiborne. So we'll go in that order. And yeah, of course, gonna keep doing up those reviews when I come back from Japan. Because my next album drops September 12th. I'll be in Japan at that point. That's 8 days after Hitomi Shimatani's birthday. But yeah, I'll be in Japan. I'm going after that, but I don't know if I really want to rush a live album discussion before I go, especially when I'm trying to get caught up on these book reviews. But I might get it done before I go because I leave on the 25th. But if not, definitely when I come back in October after the 15th. So just a heads up for any updates, and with all the new music, all the new projects. As for the books, like I said, still trying to find a good publisher, because I see these self-publishing people, but they seem like clowns. Like, they seem like scammers to me. They don't even care what your book's about. Like, none of this. They're like, yo, give us a bunch of money and we'll publish it and put it out there. And they tell you all this, but it's like, oh, motherfucker, what if I tried to publish a laundry list? What if I tried to publish just something that said this book is a piece of shit over and over again? Like, for 200 pages. And I'm like, okay, I paid you the money, publish it. Like, that doesn't make me feel valued, respected, or appreciated as the author, even, right? Like, I'm like, you really don't even care what I'm giving you? You just want the money and you're going to publish it? I Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm old fashioned. I'm like, I'd rather find a publisher that's like, okay, let's see what the book is. Let's see if it's good. Let's see if this could make money. Yeah, let's look through it. Okay, yeah, it's rough. Okay, we gotta edit it, gotta change some things, maybe tighten these formulas up, and then yeah, get a nice cover, and then yeah, we could really turn this into something. That's the kind of publishers you want, that actually could look at it and see what they got. Like, if they know what they're doing, if it's a piece of shit, they're gonna look at it and they're gonna be like, "This is a piece of shit. Try again, man. Come back another day." And you know what? I would prefer that versus putting all my heart excuse me, instead of like putting all my hard work into this book, giving it to them, and they're just like, yeah, cool, where's the money? And then they publish it, and then you know what else, another thing with those kind of people, they ain't promoting your stuff as good as the big publishers. Yeah, the publishers want percentage, but they're marketing it. And if you're a nobody first time author, You kind of need that. Every great author needed that. It's like people are like, "Oh, we'll self-publish if you don't have the money to like, get a deal with a publisher and all that." I'm like, man, J.K. Rowling didn't have this 10 free grand you're talking about I need to self-publish. How'd she get to Harry Potter? She was on freaking welfare. How'd she get it done? She found a publisher that saw the book and was like, yo, this is a success right here. This is all the kids gonna want to buy this magical formula and this shit right here. It's dope. They saw the potential and they're like, yo. Let's take this, edit this manuscript, tighten it up, give it a nice cover. We're gonna market this to kids. They gonna eat it up. All the movies, all the books later, clearly they knew what they were doing. That's the people you need in your corner when you're making a first time book. And exactly, self publishers won't promote at all. Worse still, they might take the rights to your book. So I'm like, yeah. Go on with that. All these self publishers, I'm like, go on with that shit. I ain't even trying to hear that. I'm like, get out of here, man. But my Buddhist mentor knows some people because he works in Risho Kosakai Buddhist, and one of our members, Rose, actually used to work in the publishing business. So we're still trying to find something out and see. What they said is they want me to type it up more in like a Word format. But you notice that's the other thing that makes it difficult to write books nowadays. Every computer, unless you buy it, tries to charge you to use Word Perfect nowadays. Anybody notice that? When I was a kid, do you know how many short stories and books and shit I was trying to type up because that shit was free? It was dope. It ain't free no more. I'll put it this way, I've gone through like 4 or 5 computers, laptops in the last maybe 10, 15 years, we'll say, right? Probably about 5, maybe, right? And what I could tell you is none of them have free access to Word Perfect. I'm like, when did this shit stop? Like, when did people just say, "Oh, we gonna charge for that"? Like, shouldn't that just be a necessity system tool? I mean, I remember people who weren't using that for, resumes and cover letters and all this, and they trying to charge people to use that now. I'm like, do you know what computers do have it for free? Libraries. Right? So I'm thinking if they really want me to eventually retype this up on Word Perfect, I just go to the library and do it. Because I'm like, man, I ain't paying for that shit. I'm like, I'm not paying for something I grew up with that was free, man. Like, y'all trying to take our rights away and shit. Let us have Word Perfect. What the hell is so special about Word Perfect? You need to charge us for that. Like, if anything, that's a good tool to educate younger people. I learned things with Word Perfect because of the autocorrect and shit. Like, it's actually educational. You should be letting people have that for free, not charging people. So I'm kind of pissed off at those motherfuckers for that. Just keep it real. But anyways, so yeah, this is the first episode of whatever's on my mind. Shout outs to Abs up in here and Jimbo. Thanks for tuning in. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. And of course, yeah, because of the positive reaction, we're gonna try and come back and do a show every day. If not every day, every second day. You know what? Give us some time. We'll work out a schedule. We'll think of something. But I do want to do this as much as possible because I think it would be good. I don't know what y'all think. Like I'm asking too, as any viewers watching, would you want to watch a show every day? Would you want it every second day? Would you want it once a week? Like, what are your expectations? I know I could watch that. I know I could watch that once every week at least, right? Because I want crowd participation, right? So, all right. So he said if he don't show up tomorrow, it's because he's at work. Well, no worries there. All right. Well, it seems like so far the vote is do it every day. We'll try to check it out at a later time. Hopefully, people can attend. I mean, I started this about 5:30, so 5:30 should actually be a good day to do this show every day. So, if anything, I will try and come back. Well, I started earlier now. I'm looking at the time I've been on the air and I'm looking at the clock and it's throwing me off. I'm like, okay, so I've been on the air for like 35 minutes and it's 5:45. So, Probably about 5, 10. All right. Well, you know what? Just round it to an even number since we started late, and this episode will be the pilot. It'll be a little extra longer. We'll do about half an hour episodes every day. About and Ab's up in here said he's at work. Why don't we make it like a 9 o'clock show? I don't know. 9 o'clock sounds good to me. I'm thinking 9 o'clock every day. I could do that for sure. Because even on the Buddha service, I usually get done before then. Uh, yeah, nine should be okay. If anything, um, we're gonna do it once a week for the first couple weeks, maybe. Just get the audience warmed up, and if there's a lot of crowd participation, we'll move it to a nightly slot. But we'll try for a week, see how much participation too is it. So we will be back tomorrow. We'll say yeah, 9. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. We'll start our official first run of the series, half an hour, and definitely check it out if you can. If not, no worries, catch the replays, and we'll just see how much, the crowd participates, how much the audience comes on live, asks questions, comments, all that. And if we're doing good, we'll keep it a nightly thing. If not, maybe move it to every second night or weekly, depending on, how many people participate. But until then, that's pretty much all I gotta say. So hopefully you enjoyed the show. And like I said, later on this week, stay tuned because I will do a review on um 4 Past Midnight. Yeah, that's it. And actually, that was quite a good book. In fact, I probably have one of the strangest opinions of all the reviewers I've seen talk about that book. Some people really love it. Some people really hate it. Some people like certain stories and hate others. So I think my review will really stand out because I can kind of understand everybody else's review, but I still think I have my own personal opinion on it. And of course, that's what makes art great. It's very open, interpretable, and that's what makes us for enjoying it. So till next time, hope everybody has a good night. I'm your host, Super Kami Guru Alucard. Peace out.